Welcome back to the movement, everybody. As you can see, I feel like I just got hit by a bus. My throat is not doing too well, too much, screaming and having a great time, But I want to introduce a very special guest. This is one of my brothers here, Samer Tohme. He's actually my accountant. And we're here to give you some really good insight, really good knowledge, guys. One of my fellow kings. It's a pleasure to have you, my brother.
Thank you, Joy. It's nice to be here.
It's funny because you were actually supposed to be one of the first guests.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Life got busy.
When did you start? Was it back in April, May?
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got busy. You took that trip. No, you went to Florida.
Florida, that was back in January.
You're losing your 10.
Oh, no.
You're losing your 10. You're starting to look pale now, bro. What happened?
I know. It's the can at the tan.
How was it, though, when you went down to Florida?
Florida is beautiful. The people are good. The food was good. January, it was supposed to be cold, but I guess we got lucky for those 2 weeks. The weather was beautiful. Might have rained a little bit here and there, but nothing serious. It was very nice.
What about the vibe when you go to Florida? You already know I haven't been nowhere, right? So
the vibe. What do you mean by vibe?
Like the people. How was it? Is it fast paced? Is it laid back?
Florida's a little different, especially where we were.
Where were you?
We spent a couple of days in Miami. We spent a couple of days in close to Boca Raton and a couple of days in.
I love it with the accent. There.
Yes, just before Miami. I forget the name of the town, but they're more touristic areas, right? So it's hard to gauge how the actual residents were.
Because everyone's just there to have a good time.
Exactly. But overall, it was a really good time.
Did you have a house on the beach?
We had for the first week we were in a resort right on the beach, and then the second week we had an Airbnb also on the beach.
How was that?
It was amazing.
Compared to Montreal, you got the concrete jungle.
Yes. No, Montreal. Montreal is not so bad. Montreal, it's depending where you are, because Montreal still retains that culture, like the history, from 100 years ago, 200 years ago, or whatever it is. But Florida's, it's not so fast paced. You do get that sometimes in Miami because it's obviously a bigger city, but it is very laid back. It's very
Montreal
relaxed.
Sucks for one reason. A lot of places
French?
in Montreal. No, forget about the French part. I hate the fact that every house has like 19 steps to go up before you get in the front door. And certain places,
Where have you been?
I don't know. I don't remember the name of the place. I don't speak French. All I remember is I passed the sign that said Henry Bourassa and I ended up somewhere else. I don't even know. I'm telling you, it's funny because in Montreal, they have like 16 same street names.
Yes.
But the problem is they're different places. So when I used to do the IKEA delivery bullshit,
Yeah.
and I did the Montreal run, bro, I hated my life. Like TomTom, Google Maps, Apple Maps, they all took a shit on me, bro, you know? Yes. So you go to this one address, you knock on the door, the guy opens the door, doesn't want to talk a lick in English. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, listen, man, just take your fucking package, bro. We don't even have to conversate. Just take your package. And then he's like, what package? And I'm telling you, is this your name? He's like, you have the wrong address. Oh, that's like 3 hours away. Well, 3 hours? What the fuck? I quit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah.
I did it for 2 weekends. I'm like, I'm out of here.
And the Quebecers, they like to complicate things.
Bro, it was crazy, man.
Florida has a lot of Quebecers.
Really?
Yes. Everywhere. Wherever you go, if you walk into, I don't know, like one of their grocery stores or whatever it is, all you hear is "oh why."
No way.
Everywhere, yeah.
That's these guys were smart. They left a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of the retired people.
It's like that saying,
Yeah.
hey, gangsters don't die, they get chubby and move to Miami. I wonder why they have these bodegas, bro. You know what I mean? What are you guys doing in the back? That's the real question. So you're originally from, I thought you were originally from Ottawa. I can't even speak English for my voice, man. But you got to bear with me here.
No problem, bro.
But I thought you were originally from Ottawa. You said it was Limoges you were actually from.
Yes.
Talk to me. How is it like? How are you dealing with the city in such a small town?
Well, looking back, Ottawa felt like a huge city.
That's crazy.
Huge city. Now, every time I come in from Montreal, it feels like a village.
It's like Limoges now, eh?
Yes. Honestly, it does feel like village.
That's crazy.
I was driving in and I saw the sign for Value Village. I was like, that's what Ottawa feels like. It's one small village.
Yeah, you gotta hurt my feelings like that. I'm trying to get out of here too, bro. You know, it's crazy because me and the guys genuinely been talking about leaving. Like we see a mass exodus happening, anyways. I personally don't even like the culture or the lifestyle here anymore. I'm sick of Ottawa, to be honest. I love it and I hate it at the same time. All my good memories and worst enemies and nightmares and best friends and everything came from Ottawa. But I just feel like at some point you hit a cap. And life is so vast. But the thing is we stick ourselves in these crab bucket bubbles. And I genuinely want to try something different. So how about I tell you, we're talking about going to Dubai in January. And I think last year, something like that, 11 people moved there. I'm like, bro, I got to hurry up, bro. Because if I'm the part of the 30 million, it's stagnant. You know what I mean? But I'm like, it's incredible what's out there. A lot of people are leaving and they're super happy. You know, I think a lot of the things now, actually, did you not see that Bill C-18 today just passed?
What is that?
That's refraining Facebook and all of them. I think it was to do about news, podcasting or news. You know how they're really controlling the narrative with Bill C-11?
Yes.
And then now they just passed Bill C-18. So in protest, Google, Facebook, and I think there's a couple of other ones. They're like, we're cutting Canadian news in protest. Because they're really honkering down on it feels like it's almost becoming totalitarian, you know?
It is.
So I'm on the path of I'm trying to leave too. I feel like there's just more to life. And I can't fucking stand winter. I can't stand winter. I'm so petty. I hate it. You're indoors for 6-7 months. You know, I was so petty one time. I calculated how many days out of the year.
When you're counting
and
down
then I
those
did
days,
that over an 80-year average, bro, and I
Uh-uh.
wanted to puke. And I'm like, man, I just can't do it. Other than that, I've loved Canada. It was a great place. I don't feel like it's the same anymore, right?
You know, I was talking to one of my wealthier clients. He told me that his parents, they spent the 6 months of...
Cut that out. He's saying I'm not wealthy. I'm just joking. I'm wealthier clients. Anyways, continue. How do you?
So he was telling me that his parents, they spent the 6 months of winter in the Mediterranean area, and then the 6 months of like summerish around Switzerland, the Alps, France, that kind of area. And they just enjoy it.
And they love that, eh?
Absolutely. Because in the Mediterranean, it's really hot in the summer. So they spend the winter there. So it's a little, more mild. It's relaxed.
That's amazing.
Why not? And it's right on the coast.
Yeah.
So everybody loves seeing the water. You hear the water in the morning, sunrise, sundown.
Even you see a lot of these videos of people like African places, like Cape Town and all that. And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole world out there. Why am I still in Ottawa, bro, looking at the parliament?
I know.
And the piece of shit running that parliament, you know what I mean?
I know.
And I don't care whoever's a Trudeau lover or nothing. I hate the bastard, you know what I mean? And I just said, man, personally, I'm just done. I just want to try something new. I feel like, life is... I feel like every time I see these guys go on vacations and they come back, they get like this extra knowledge they've attained or a different type of style of quality of life. And they come back and they say the same things, but even when you talk to people nowadays here, cost of living is so high.
It's ridiculous.
And you know this. You see the books. Like a lot of the times we're talking to you, all my financial advice comes from you. And it's so high. The cost of living is so terrible. I hear all these other guys that are leaving. And then everyone's super happy, man. And they've been gone for a while. It's not like they've been gone for a day, 2 days. I'm talking a year plus. And I'll be like, yo, you're not going to come back to Ottawa? He's like, I'd wipe my ass with Ottawa. He's like, are you crazy? He's like, first of all, quality of life is amazing out here. Second, he's like, cost of living is amazing.
Yes.
It's 4 times more expensive in Ottawa than it is here, and I'm making $50K a year.
Yeah.
And English is a big asset for a lot of these places because it's more of an international business language. But the thing is, everybody straps themselves here,
It's because like you said earlier, you're raised here, your memories are here, your childhood is here or was here. So...
I'm grabbing the wrong can. I'm sitting there trying to say, I'm trying to get a sponsor from goddamn Monster, and I'm sitting there pulling out the can. But
it's kind of like our parents, right? When they left Lebanon, all their childhood memories were there. Their cousins, their parents, their ancestors, they're all from there. So even though they're here, and it's arguably better than, in Lebanon or Syria or wherever they're from, they always say, oh, this area, this, I don't like this country. I want to die in Lebanon. I want to die in Syria. That's my hometown.
You know what the crazy part is what you just said? The cost of living here is so bad. You know how it's funny because they still have the notion back home that they feel like money grows on trees. Oh, at the Kennedy. Right? That was the answer. So, Samer's balling. Yussef's balling. Sean's Canadian, so he's stuck here anyways. It's not like he's going there, so he's still balling anyways. But the crazy part is I just had a guy that was working for me for a while. And he hated it. And he was like, I came to Canada. He's from Chile. And he came to Canada because I guess his family, he has a pretty decent life in Chile. Very good friends. He had a whole life set up for him and whatever. And he was doing construction there too, right? But anyways, I guess he wanted to help out his sister and his abuela, his grandmother. And he did. So he came here. He hated it, by the way. Guy was crying every day. He missed back home. And I guess I understand where he's coming from because he's not leaving poverty. So he's not leaving a terrible life to come here to make money. The crazy part is he just left. And he's like, after bills and paying your rent and all that, I'm literally left with like $85. And he's getting pretty decent. He's getting pretty decent pay where I am with my company. But at the end of the day, he can only send back like $85 because he still needs some cost of living here. It's that expensive. So he's like, listen, you know what? We got lied to. They said, go to Canada, you'll make money, man. He's like, I didn't make shit. And he's like, I just lost a year away from my family.
So the thing is that narrative changed. It used to be like that.
That's a fact.
Right? I know people. Like I have family members that came here first from Lebanon. They worked really hard. They saved as much as they could. And they were very frugal, and they were able to send quite a bit of money. Back then, it was quite a bit of money to their family to help out. Now it's impossible. You can't.
Yeah, you're right. It's impossible.
The cheapest rent is maybe 1,000, 900, maybe 900, 1,000 a month in the city,
which is nuts.
That's the cheapest.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's for a dump.
It is a dump.
Yeah, it's for a dump. I feel like it's like $1,500 for a basement apartment nowadays.
It is
for nothing.
That's for a basement. So if it's room and board. If it's room and board, it's about 900.
All I know is it's going up. Let me ask you your opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think so far now that you're seeing? You feel like people are getting more stingy with the money that you're seeing in the accounts?
Absolutely. Because there's no money left. So they have to.
The problem is they kept printing and throwing it out too much, eh?
Yep. So that's the main problem. So obviously, this was amplified in the last 2 or 3 years, since 2020. But even before then, since the 80s, the 90s, the government consistently just printed money. Whatever you wanted, they would just print it and they would provide it. They never asked, are you willing to pay for it? Typically, we pay for services and things either via taxation or via inflation. It's one or the other, right? Taxation, you feel it right away. Inflation, you feel it over several years. Now the problem is they've printed so much money. Asset prices have gone up. So land is a lot more expensive. Materials are a lot more expensive. All these commodities are a lot more expensive. But salaries have not risen as much. So you're really feeling the pinch.
I've talked to a lot of people. You're right.
All right. So that's the problem.
Is what I'm trying to find out. I feel like a lot of people just bicker about today's issues. You know what I mean? All they do is talk, oh my God, we're collapsing. But in reality, what I want to do is I want to be able to give them a platform or a method on how to do it. Because let's be honest, a lot of these gurus out there are fake.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I learned a lot of my business off you initially when I first started. It's crazy how we met. Actually, Ahmed referred me to you, yeah. How many years ago was that? Like 6?
Yeah, something like that.
I was the worst client right in the beginning.
You never listened. I used to call you consistently. This is due.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And the crazy part is that's like unheard of. An accountant chasing you. You went above and beyond the norm, and I was running out the door. I'm like, every time I felt my call coming in, I'm like, here's the tax bill. Here's the collector calling. Run, bro. That's hilarious, man. But no, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give a. I feel like every time you hear about it, no one's telling you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one thing people are not realizing is you just got to work harder right now. I feel like that one of the solutions is sometimes, you know what, you just got to work. Everyone talks about saving money. I feel like you have to find a way to be able to amplify and make more money on top of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I think saving money right now is not the best move at all.
Saving money?
Like, to a certain degree.
You have to save money so you can put towards your investments.
That's right.
Right, to buy assets, commodities, so on and so forth. But to just save money and keep it as cash, you're not going to go anywhere. Because with the way things are going, they're just going to keep non-stop printing. They don't care. If we're at 100% GDP, debt to GDP, they're just going to keep printing non-stop. They're going to do like in what Japan has. Japan has like, I think 200, 300% debt to GDP.
No way.
Yeah, they don't care. Just keep printing.
Why?
Well,
because everything will just collapse out of
Well, those are your two choices. Either we maintain status quo, people suffer in the long run, or you get an economic recession or economic depression, people suffer in the short term, but out of that suffering, you get strong winners, and then you build something in the long run. The problem is, as a politician, you never want to choose the immediate pain.
Because obviously they lose their constituents, their voters.
Exactly. Yeah, you lose your job. Right.
Because I feel like I feel like it does have to collapse at some point.
You have to.
It has to reset somewhere. Maybe you have to pick and choose on which parts, but it can't stay like this forever.
You can't pick and choose. I don't think you can pick and choose. Because
it's like a Band-Aid, man. It has to come off.
Everything is connected. Right? So, for example, let's say real estate, let's say we decide to make real estate collapse. The problem is people have borrowed against their homes to buy stocks. So if real estate goes down, well, now I have more debt on my home than the value of the asset. So now I have to sell some of my stocks. So now the stocks go down. But then some people, they borrow against their stocks to do,
house purchases.
Exactly, other stuff. So everything is connected. All right. We have an economy that's very, I forget the word. I think it's called hypothecated. You leverage from one asset to get another asset. Then on that second asset, you leverage on that to get a third asset, so on and so forth.
Yeah, when things are going nice, obviously it's a good thing to be able to do on it.
Oh, of course.
100%.
The best time to do that is obviously at the depth of a recession, right? Because then you're getting dirt cheap assets and you're borrowing on something that you already have. So it's not, you can't go deeper than the depth of a recession. But when you're at the top, well, you're at the top and you can only go
down.
Yeah, exactly.
I never understood that factor where everybody had that FOMO and you're buying at peak pricing. Like, who buys that? Why would you buy at peak pricing? It's only going to go down. It can't keep going up. I think they just have this notion of, oh my God, I want to get that $100,000 lottery. If I buy this house today, it's going to go up 100K in like 6 months. A lot of the times I used to find that funny because I'm like, even when they used to do that and they used to actually sell the house, they only are left with like 20K. You got to pay your capital gains tax.
Yes.
You got to pay your penalty. You have to pay all that stuff, land transfer fees.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was crazy how much they drove the market. But what do you think they should be able to do right now? What's advice that you'd be able to say where people can start helping getting themselves out of there, out of this hole to get ahead?
It's very well, it depends on your situation. If you're an employee, you need to find a side hustle. You need to find a second job, third job. You got to do what you got to do to, like you said earlier, you got to increase your income potential, right? Because working 9 to 5, you're not going to go anywhere, unfortunately. If you're self-employed, if you're already self-employed and you have a business, you got to find a way to increase your sources of income. If you have a good business, double up, triple up, increase your marketing spend, go into different niches if you can, if possible. Expand your geography. Do what you can to get as many customers as possible. Save that extra money and invest it into different assets.
Why did you become an accountant? I know it's not for the love for numbers.
Numbers are good because at the end of the day, the language of business is numbers.
That's right.
Right? Through accounting, you can really understand how a business works, how it functions and whatnot. But it was really for the networking. It was really to meet different business owners, really understand their industry and how it functions, the challenges, their competitors. So,
what do you feel like? What's the industry you see the most of right now in your business?
It depends. Depends where it is. So in Ottawa, I see a lot of real estate related. So either construction or real estate agents or
mortgage brokers,
that kind of stuff. If it's in Montreal, I see a lot of import-export, right? Just because it's a different town.
Yeah.
Right?
They have the port there.
Exactly. And then if it's, for example, Toronto's a lot of IT consultants, and a lot of them do cross-border. So they have a lot of U.S. clients and Canadian clients.
So they get paid in U.S. funds?
Yes, from the U.S. clients, yes.
Do they have to file taxes in the U.S. or no?
Yes, so if you're dealing with the U.S., you do.
I wonder how that would work.
What do you mean?
It's obviously still lucrative anyways if they're taking on clients from the States. I'm just saying it's more of a tax hit. Realistically, it's a write-off anyways for you.
What is?
For the business, it's an expense. It's a write-off for the business.
So
like the taxes they'd have to pay.
So essentially, whatever money they make from the U.S., from their U.S. clients, they pay taxes on that U.S. source income. And then they have to report their total income, U.S. and Canadian income, to Canada. And whatever taxes they've paid to the U.S., it gets deducted.
So you're like the fucking king of hookups, eh? Since you know everybody, man, you must be able to get a deal everywhere, eh?
A little bit,
I'd
sometimes.
fucking leverage that. What are you talking about?
Of course. Why not?
Yo, I'll hook you up. You hook me up, man. Just scratch my back. I'll scratch your back. Cars, mortgages, whatever. Let's be honest. You don't need anybody to do your mortgages and stuff like that since you do numbers all day.
Well, I have a pretty, I mean, it's good to have just because, I'm already busy with other stuff. So it's good to have one or two mortgage brokers to help you out. But I usually have a pretty good idea what I can get based on my income.
So I'm guessing because you were always in the life of business because your dad had a restaurant, right?
Yes.
How was that? What do you think about the restaurant industry?
It's tough. It's lucrative. It can be lucrative if you're in the right industry and right location and you've been around for many years. But it's very tough. A lot of the money goes towards payroll and cost of food, right? And typically, just normally, people like to change restaurants, right? No one likes to go to the same restaurant consistently every week. So you always see different names, different types of restaurants every 3 to 5 years. So you always have new competition. So it gets tough.
And the margins are very limited, eh?
The margins are thin.
I remember because I called you that a few months ago. Remember when I was talking about opening a restaurant?
What kind of restaurant was it? Do you remember? Like a shawarma?
No, I don't remember. No, we still didn't actually talk about what we were going to do.
Oh, you weren't sure?
We were still figuring out. To be honest, actually, one of the things that we wanted to put on was wings. Because fucking Ice's wings are insane, bro. I couldn't believe how good his wings are. I would say he'd shit on anybody. And it's not part of his menu. I think he's not putting it part of his menu in his restaurant, Sparta's. But I think that's what we wanted to do is something simple. It was mainly something, when I was trying to do the restaurant, it was mainly to give my mom and them something to do. I know she genuinely likes cooking, get something as a family. I don't care if I took a penny, to be honest.
I'm sure she's busy with the kid right now.
Who?
Your
my mom?
Yes.
My mom's in love with the kid, bro. Oh, my God.
I'm sure it's a full-time job.
Oh, my God, man. He's so much fun, bro. Well, congratulations. You had Lucy.
Yes.
How old is she now? 2 months?
She's about a month.
Fuck, I really fast forward time, eh?
Oh, man. Time flies.
That's crazy.
Time flies. It's beautiful.
Yeah, she's colicky?
I don't think so.
Thank God.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Thank God, bro. Oof, oof. Hopefully the wife doesn't watch this, eh?
She probably will.
Oh, no, man. That's the one thing I'm not looking forward to. Like, Tina's due in October. But one thing I'm not looking forward to is that colic.
What was it?
Fuck,
is it a boy or a girl?
Do you know? Oh, my God, huh?
Do you know if it's a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
It's a boy? Congratulations.
Thanks, bro.
Well, listen, he may not be colicky.
I hope not, bro. I had a dream I had 5 sons. I swear to God, each one bigger than the other. Fucking handsome man, nice beard, slick back hair. I look like an old man. I had a little cane like this. I look like Sylvester Stallone. Who the fuck doesn't want to look like Stallone at 76?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Incredible, man. That was a great dream. I'm like, you know what? I want to build an empire of some sort. But I feel like that drive has to stem from somewhere. A lot of the times. I feel like a lot of these children... Actually, you know what's funny? My old partner, I don't want to say his name. You know who he is. I still love the guy to death. We still talk to this day. But even when we were talking about going to business, his parents snapped. What the fuck you doing? Why are you going to do that? You have a job. Why do you want to go out there and take a risk? I don't want to talk to you if you're going to keep doing the business. Bro, you got to encourage these guys to go out on their own and figure out their own stuff. But that's the crazy part. A lot of that mentality stems from there. And if you think about it, a lot of these immigrant peoples, we were merchants back home. So that's the crazy part. So I just didn't understand that dynamic. But they perceive and they push, because it's crazy. A lot of our people, they screw each other over. That's a fact. We do a lot of good business together, but a lot of the times we shark each other.
Yeah.
And I guess the father has been sharked too many times, so he puts his insecurities and his issues onto the kid. So how are you going to let him flourish?
It's hard.
You got to let him fall face first if you asked him.
Yep. It's the only way to succeed.
It is.
You have to... All of my biggest clients, they've all failed at some point, in some regards, at the beginning. All of them. 100%. It's very difficult. And you have to go through that pain.
What do you think the biggest challenges you hear most of the time is? Like as an accountant, what's the biggest fucking complaint in terms of real estate?
In terms of business in general?
Yeah, like what's the biggest complaint you hear? What's like the biggest obstacles?
Employees.
Fuck, I second that.
Employees. I hear that all the time. My employee didn't show up on time. My employees are complaining. They need more money. My employees are not working hard enough. My employees don't care. My employees are threatening to leave. So it's hard. It's really hard for employers right now, right? People, it's kind of like landlords and tenants. Tenants always think landlords have all the money in the world. But in reality, most landlords today, they just break even. At best, they break even. If you're good, you break even. The majority are failing.
Really?
Yeah, they're all negative. They have to put in money. Why? Because the mortgage is higher than the rent.
Oh, yeah, and you only have that 2.5% increase or 3% increase a year?
I thought it was less.
I don't even know what the increase is.
1 or 2.
So even if you raise the rent by $50, but your payment went up by $300, what is it going to do?
Big deal, yeah.
I guess so.
All right.
I guess so.
Property tax went up, insurance went up. So
one thing I find is very unfair is the fact that I feel like landlords should have a way to protect themselves. The problem is you'll never find a happy medium ever. There's no way.
It's difficult because
like
the more you protect the tenant, although you think you're protecting the tenant, in the long run, you're actually harming the tenant. So for example, in Quebec, there's an enormous amount of protection for tenants. And it's very difficult for the landlords to increase their rent, even by 1% a year. It's very difficult. So because of that, landlords just don't, they just don't increase their rent. So to offset that, they don't maintain the property. So a lot of these properties you see in Montreal or Montreal area, they're dumps. Because the landlord can't renovate, he can't improve it. So he has to cut down somewhere to make some money.
That makes sense.
Right?
I feel like the crazy part is you hear a lot of these nightmare horror stories of someone's been with the landlord-tenant board for the last 10 months.
Yes.
They're back $30K.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's crazy how you can just allow somebody to live in someone else's house. I'm a renter myself. So I have an amazing relationship with my landlord. My landlord's special, but I have an amazing relationship with him. Realistically, what are they asking for? Pay your rent on time. Like, if you can't afford your rent, with all due respect, go get another job then. Work a little harder, It's today's market. He purchased the house.
Or just be upfront with the landlord. Tell him, listen,
yeah, there's no communication.
I can't pay $1,500 a month. Can we do 14?
For a set period amount of time or something like that. I'm not a landlord, so if anybody thinks right now I'm coming after anybody, I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's unfair to landlords as well, because I see what they also go through. Like, fine, it's harsh sometimes what the tenants go through, but at the same time, the landlords don't have as many protections or even anything compared to the tenants. And people can squat in your house for a year before they get booted. And that guy's stuck paying $30K. Imagine you're like, fuck, I have to pay $2,400 a month on top of my own mortgage.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because I couldn't have been financially responsible with my credit, with all that stuff to actually go out and purchase my own. So let's tank this guy. He's going to suffer because I can't afford it no more. And I'm just going to sit back and do whatever. My thing is be a fucking doer. I've always said the same shit. Stop telling me about it. Go do it. You want to talk about it to strategically plan? Yes. You want to talk to me, for the sake of talking my ear off, I don't want to hear it. Go fucking do it. You know how I am. So if I'm struggling, which I've struggled many times in this business, I've gone and did bullshit fucking repairs and sold these little jobs. And I've gone and done this and that to go pay the bills. I've helped a friend out to pay the bills. And just, it is what it is. Sometimes when you're down and the chips are down, you got to do whatever you can to get them back up. But a lot of people are like, fuck it, I'm entitled.
No. You have to remove that. There's no ego.
Like, if you made a commitment to something, that's the kind of guy I am. If I made a commitment to you, and I said, this is my rent or whatever, we shook hands, I made a commitment, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I have to make sure I uphold my end of the commitment, because at the end of the day, my word means everything. People say, oh, Yussef Dwaydar, okay, he's good for it. You know what I mean? But once you start flaking, then you're actually doing yourself a disservice, because later on in life, you start to build a character around who you are. You start to build yourself into somebody that's a flake.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
But your dad, restaurant. Sorry, I keep fucking going on tangents, man. It's about you and I'm talking about me here, bro. This is ridiculous.
So my dad, yes. So it's very difficult, the restaurant industry.
How did he push you into opening your own business?
I don't know if he pushed me. I think it just made sense to me.
Were you free labor?
Was I? Oh, at my dad's restaurant? 100%. But again, that made sense to me. He many times he offered, oh, you did a good job, here you go. I said no, because why would I take money from my dad? Because whatever he keeps, it goes back to the family. So it's like I'm taking from the family.
We understand that. I always find it funny because it's a typical Arab story.
Yes. So To me, that never clicked. Although he wanted to pay me, it didn't matter to me. I'll take from a stranger, but I won't take from my dad. It was tough. It was long days, long nights, 6, 7 days a week. We would get up 3, 4 in the morning. We would work until, 5, 6, 7, right?
Did you do any of the accounting there, or is it?
A little bit, but, I did from, the dishwashing to cleaning the floors, cooking, serving people. And it was great because that's how you get exposure. That's how you learn, right? Because at the restaurant, you have accountants, you have lawyers, you have construction people coming in, you have government workers, and you hear people's stories and you see a trend, you understand. And the people that I saw that were always relaxed, calm, and cool, they were always the business owners, right? Everyone who seemed like they were scrambling, today is tight, I'm not sure, can I come back tomorrow and pay you? They were always employees.
Really?
Always employees.
Why would you say that?
Why?
Like, what would you say is the difference? Because they had money, they didn't? Is that what it is?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So,
although it sucks when you feel like you're on survival mode, eh?
But you need that to push you to become a business owner, right? Like you were saying earlier.
Oh man, not everybody's cut for this. This is tough.
Well, that's why I think, what is it? I think 80% of businesses fail. 70, 80%.
I believe it.
Something like that. It's very difficult.
I wanted to fucking wave the white flag 1 billion times, bro.
Don't. You have to keep pushing.
No, I'm way past that now, but I'm just saying in the beginning, fuck. I had to tie down a strap just so I don't fucking wave the white flag. I'm like, man, I want to go like this, bro. I'm fucking done. Sleepless nights and all the bullshit. But let's be honest,
but it's worth it. It's worth it.
100%.
So I've been in business for maybe 12 years now. And the first 4 years, I worked maybe 20 hours a day, 6 days a week, between studying for the CPA, working with my parents, studying at university, committing to the business, building the business, branding, marketing, this and that. So it was a good 20 hours a day minimum. So it was tough. But looking back, it makes sense.
What impressed me about you is you're actually 80% amazing at everything involved in your business.
Just 80%?
I'm saying everything else, like not just numbers. I'm like, even you did your own marketing. Like you went out and actually learned how to do your own marketing. You learned how to do this. You learn how to do that when you could have just outsourced it.
I could have, but the problem is then I wouldn't be able to judge you if you're doing a good job.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I have to know. I don't care about doing the marketing, but I have to know enough about it so that I can say, listen, you're doing something wrong. You fucked up here. You fucked up there. Fix this, fix that. I don't think this works. This doesn't make sense for me. Maybe this works in real estate, but it doesn't work in accounting, blah, 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 blah.
That's right.
So I don't want someone to dictate my results. It's my business. This is my sweat, blood, and tears. I dictate the results.
And that went a long way anyways.
Yeah. Definitely.
So then after that, so when it came to accounting, what was my question, man? I was going to ask a bomber, bro. It was going to be a bomber. I was trying to remember. When it came down to crypto, it was actually about crypto.
Yes.
What do you think about the market going on right now? Because everyone is saying either it's a bull market or a bear market. What do you think is really going on? What's your take on the situation?
What's your time horizon?
I was just listening to Ahmed and Diesel go off last night. And one's predicting this, one's predicting that. I'm not going to say what it is. I want to hear what you're saying. Like,
what's your time horizon? Are we talking about the next 6 months or the next 6 years?
No, the next 2 years.
Next 2 years. Crypto's a tough one, right? So for let's say Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the biggest one. So Bitcoin could either go to 0 or it's going to hit 1 million, right? It's one or the other. If it goes to 0, it's because all major countries across the world are banning Bitcoin and crypto in general. They've over-regulated it and they've said it's you just can't touch it. You can't mine it, you can't own it, you can't buy, sell, transfer, nothing. Or it goes to 1 million because people are trying to do a lot of peer-to-peer transfers, right?
Really?
One or the other. It's one or the other.
What else?
And I think there's a lot more people who are trying to make payments hassle-free. Because anytime you're trying to do a wire, anyone who's ever tried to do a wire overseas for 50K, 100K, 200K, whatever it is, it takes a few days. It's slow. It's expensive.
Yeah.
The bank fees are high.
Yeah.
You get interrogated by your bank. Man, this is my money. It was in the account for several days, weeks, months. Why are you questioning me?
You need a Swift
Why do you
code
care?
and all that other shit. Yeah.
Why do you care? This is my money. So Bitcoin is an out, right? If I want to transfer to you, I can do that. And it takes 2-3 minutes. Done. And it's at a fraction of the cost.
So
It's
that's
my
a lot
decision.
of that's a big driving factor, you think?
I think, yes, it is. And it kind of ties back into what you were saying earlier, where governments are pushing to become more authoritarian and people want more freedom.
Well, I just seen that they just said that Biden he exonerated or he dropped the charges against that Sam Bankman-Fried or whatever.
Yes,
Because obviously he was putting money into the
Absolutely.
Democrats' pocket. Everybody knew
absolutely. And you know about his parents, right? Or no?
that. No.
No. So his mom is one of the top lawyers in the U.S.
Really?
and his father is one of the top tax lawyers in the U.S. So obviously, all the agreements for FTX and that SBF developed, they were double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked.
For sure.
And
his parents
for
are that.
sure they fought for him. And like you said, SBF, he was a major donor for
Huge.
Biden.
Man, I always say it all the time. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yes, it's your network.
It really is, man.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about stocks right now? What would you advise people when it comes down to stocks? Because at the end of the day, like I said, I want to be able to give some insight to these people. I want to tap Sammy's mind.
So again,
What's your advice?
It depends who you are. Are you a trader? Are you looking to do 1 or 2 weeks, get in, get out, or you want to look for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? If you're looking for a long term, it could be it's starting to look like a decent time to start entering slowly. It really doesn't matter what you do, whether it's real estate, crypto, stocks, bonds. It doesn't matter. It's more about risk management, right? If you have 100K to put into the markets, you shouldn't just put in 100. Put in 5. See how it goes. Wait. Be patient. Okay, then put another 10. If it goes down, if it goes up, wait. See how it behaves. Do you know what I mean?
What's a good method, do you think, for these people to learn how to invest? Because everybody had to start from somewhere,
A good method. What do you mean by that?
Where can they go to learn on how they invest? Like, how did you learn to invest your dough?
2 things. One, I learned from myself. I made a lot of mistakes. It cost a lot of money, took a lot of time. If you're a doer and you're a pusher and you're willing to lose to learn, it's worth it. If not, and you want to learn a little faster without losing as much, which is probably preferable for most people, YouTube. You can learn so much from YouTube.
So they
YouTube, Twitter, there's an enormous amount of free information. An enormous amount of free information.
So if somebody wanted to start off trying to invest into stocks,
Yes.
what do you think the first steps should be?
First steps, you need to make enough money so that whatever money you lose in the stocks or crypto or bonds, property market, whatever it is, it doesn't bother you, right?
Okay.
So it has to be something you're willing to lose. That's step number 1. Step number 2, you have to understand that all markets are heavily manipulated. Just because you're buying and selling, it doesn't mean it'll go up or go down. It's not based on you. It's based on the bigger players who are moving the markets. And once you understand that, it really pushes you to look at the bigger picture and to manage the risk. Like I said, if you have 100,000, you don't put in 100,000. You put in a little bit, right? And you see how it goes.
So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, because we are running out of time, where can they find you?
You can find me online at TohmeAccounting.com.
What happened? You're losing your voice like me now.
Oh, man.
Somebody get him water here. What's going on?
We've been talking for too long.
So Tohme Accounting.
TohmeAccounting.com. You can connect with me there. And we can book a meeting and see how we can help you.
We're going to put his link in the description. And like I said, we're talking about the council. And we're going to get you financial advice on what to do's and how to's and don'ts or whatever. And we're definitely going to be talking about that later on.
Perfect.
On actually getting into a real financial segment and actually having like graphs and stuff like that of what people should do. Because I know people don't understand about how to read candles and wicks and all that other stuff. So obviously I think a lot of people should start getting involved and try to find a better way to be able to actually maximize their potentials in life. People shouldn't just sit on their ass and thinking things are going to come to them. They should go to it, right? So that's why we're creating the council. His link is going to be in the description. You're going to be able to get a hold of him. Highly vouched. The guy's my accountant as well. Takes care of all my businesses. All right. So Sammy, it's a pleasure, my brother.
Joey, is nice to meet you.
And hopefully we're going to see you later on anyways.
See you soon.
Move back from Montreal, man. I was sick and tired of waiting for you to come back. My brother. How you send me that is all my